All right, moving forward in our study of Photoshop, which yeah, if you're at home it's Photopea, but Photoshop in at school, right? So here's what we're going to work on today. It's called layer duplication. So if you go to Google Classroom and go to classwork and look at Photoshop 16, layer duplication, there are two files there that you're going to need to do this. This one with Usain Bolt right here. It's called layer duplication 1 Bolt, and then layer duplication 2 Ferris. You need both of those. So I'm going to click the Bolt one, and I'll click the little dots in the top right hand side. You can do this on your Chromebook, right? It works on your, because I did it on my Chromebook and it worked. So I'm going to go to the three dots up here in the corner and do open in new window, and then I'm going to download it right there, download. If here at school, when I do that, it goes into my downloads folder, but if you're on your Chromebook, it goes onto your Google Drive. That's where it gets saved. Now I'm going to go to a new tab, and I'll make my way to photopea.com, photopea.com. All right, it's about layer duplication today. What you have to do is take these files and make them look different. Here's how it works. Remember, I just downloaded that picture, that Photoshop document with Usain Bolt. I'm going to click open from computer. Now for me, I got to look in my downloads folder, but you would just look on your Google Drive and look for this, layer duplication 1 Bolt, and open that. Here it is. It's got a bunch of layers. If you look at the layers panel, there's a background, there's a gradient right there. There's an image of his relay team. Usain Bolt's a sprinter from Jamaica, in case you don't know. There's a layer 3 is a picture of his relay team. Layer 4 is a picture of some track lanes. If you look carefully, you can see them in there. Layer 5 is a Jamaican flag, bottom right-hand corner. Layer 6 is Usain Bolt striking his pose that he always does when he wins a race. And then a type layer, fastest man alive. Now, you could duplicate any layer you want. You could duplicate the Jamaican flag. You could duplicate the type layer. You could duplicate Usain Bolt, which is what I'm going to do. Here's how it works. You can go to the layer menu and do duplicate layer. There is a keyboard shortcut, which I always use here, Control J. I like the keyboard shortcut. So it's Control J, or you just go to the layer menu and go duplicate layer. Now it doesn't look like anything happened, and that is because the two layers are, I'm going to move one of them. The two layers are right on top of each other. And you know, when they're laying right on top of each other, you can't even tell that there's two layers. But as soon as you start playing around with a layer, then yes, you definitely can tell that the layer has been duplicated. So here's what I'm going to do with mine. You do not have to do it like me. You get creative and do your own thing, but I'm going to go to the copy of Usain Bolt that is underneath. I'm going to go to edit and free transform, and then I'm going to make that copy bigger. And stretching it out and making it bigger. And see, this is what layer duplication does for you. It makes a repeated image in your composite. Something visually repeated can sometimes look really cool. It can look really good. You have something repeated more than once. I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark on that transform. And so far, see, I've really kind of already accomplished the assignment. I have two layers of Usain Bolt, and one of them is bigger than the other. It's behind and bigger. But I'm also going to do this. I'm also going to play with some blend modes. Like, what if I put it on dissolve? Boy, that didn't do anything. So what if I put it on screen? Oh, look at that. Or what if I put it on overlay? Overlay is a pretty good choice too. Look at that. That's not bad either. I kind of like that as well. Or hard light. Right? This is where you look at vivid light there. That's not bad. This is where you just get creative, man. And you could lower the opacity of that a little bit if you wanted to. I could fade that down some if I didn't want it to be quite so dramatic. I could do it like that. So really, this first one, there are two images you have to work on. This first one, I'm done with it, right? I duplicated a layer, and I did something with that duplicated layer to make it look different. Yay. So I could come along here now and just save it, right? I could say save as PSD, go to the file menu, do save as PSD. That would save on your Google Drive if you're doing this on your Chromebook. Now I'm going to go back over to Google Classroom because we're not quite done. because there's another file over here on Google Classroom. This one called Layer Duplication Number 2. It says Ferris right here. All right, so I'm going to click that, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before. 3 dots in the corner, open a new window, download the file. For me here at school, it goes in my downloads folder. For you on a Chromebook, it goes onto your Google Drive. Back here on Photopea, I'm going to go ahead and close this one because I've already done it. So I'm just going to close it. I'll say open from computer. Here's my layer duplication number 2. Open that. Let's see what we got on this one, shall we? We've got a reddish background. We've got this picture. I'm going to turn some layers off so you can see. Okay. Why can I not see that? Oh, because I turned off the artboard. Okay, yeah, sorry. There we go. I got it. All right. Anyway, this picture here is that's Kelly Ferris right there. And the reason I picked Kelly Ferris, she was a WNBA player, and she's from Plainfield. She went to the middle school, but then transferred, I think, to Covenant Christian High School. I believe it was. So she didn't go to Plainfield High School, but she went to Plainfield Middle School and then went to Covenant Christian and went to the University of Connecticut. If you follow women's basketball at all, the University of Connecticut is huge in women's basketball, and then wound up playing in the WNBA for the Connecticut Sun. And this is her playing defense there. She's trying to block a shot. Then you have a Connecticut Sun logo on here, and then you have this picture of Kelly Ferris dribbling right there, and then you do have a type layer right here. Now, once again, the thing here is that you can duplicate any layer. The assignment is you have to duplicate a layer at least once, and then you have to do something with it so it looks different than what it did when you opened up the file. All right, well, again, I'm going to take this layer right here that has Kelly Ferris on it, and I'm going to duplicate that. And actually, I'm going to do it more than once. I'm going to go Control J, 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 like that. And if you'll look on the layer panel, that gives me a whole bunch of copies of Kelly Ferris, right? So what am I going to do with those? Well, here's my thought. I'll just use a free transform to do this, but I'm going to take this one and kind of move it over here, check mark. Then I'll take the next one. I'll just do a free transform. And remember, you don't have to do the same thing as me. You get creative and come up kind of with your own plan. Be courageous. I'm going to free transform there, and I'll move that, check mark. And I'm going to the next one down. I'm working my way down all these copies of Kelly Ferris. I'll do a free transform there. I'm just going to kind of move that one a little bit, check mark. And then I'm down to the bottom on the stack, and it would be like behind on the edit and free transform. And I'm going to move that one back this way a little bit. So again, the idea here is to take something visually and repeat it in your image. And then I think I'm going to do something else with this. On this one that's farthest back, I'm going to lower the opacity to somewhere around 20-ish. And then on the next one that's closer to me, I'm going to put the opacity at around 40-ish. And on the next one, I'm going to put you see where I'm going with this. The opacity gets up to around 60-ish. And then on the next one, the opacity is going to be around 80-ish. 80-ish. And then on the one that is the closest, the front one, I'm just going to leave the opacity up at 100. So now I've got that repeated visual of Kelly Ferris, but she's kind of fading in as she comes across there. You know what? You could do other things too. I could come along here and say, ooh, let's add an outer glow, right? You could spread and size. Let's go with a normal blend mode. Why am I not seeing that? I should be seeing that. Did I get the wrong one? I got the wrong one. Close that. I didn't want to do that one. I wanted to do the front one. Sorry. Effects, outer glow, There we go. Now it's too much. I don't like that much, right? And gosh, there's so many things you could do. Make it kind of an electric blue. All right. So you get the idea. I'm not sure I love that, but anyway, you get the idea. And so you could doctor that up as much as you want. You could play it, but what you have to do on the assignment is you have to take a layer, and you have to use these two things I have posted on Google Classroom: the Usain Bolt and the Kelly Ferris. And you got to open those. You got to take a layer. You got to duplicate the layer at least once. Once the layer is duplicated, you got to play around with it a little bit to do something to it, make it look different than it did when it was opened up. And what you do is up to you. My goodness, get in there and have some fun. Then I would come along with this one. I would go save as PSD. And I'm going to be looking for 2 files turned in on this assignment. You should turn in both of them. You have to attach both of the files that have your work done on them. All right, let's give that a shot. Off you go.